Chapter 2. I made it all the way to the other side of the park before I found out. My phone rang, and I shuffled the leashes into one hand to dig it out of my coat pocket. I pulled out my trusty, dumb phone and flipped it open to see an unfamiliar number with an out-of-state area code. Hello? Lacey, it's Presley. Hi. I've thought about it, and I want him. You'll help, right? Of course. A skateboarder flew past me on the bridge, and the dogs surged forward. I can come over every day if you need me. This is going to cost me a fortune, isn't it? Nah, I'll give you the friend discount. Who was I kidding? I was already walking Aslan for free. I was a sucker for that dog. I had a huge grin plastered on my face. When can you start? I laughed. You have to adopt him first. I juggled the leashes as we neared the bridge. The dogs always got a little nervous when we crossed it. It was narrow, and people on bikes sped by in both directions. I better go. Text me your address. Thanks a lot. You're welcome. And Lacey? I jerked the leashes as a woman on rollerblades whizzed past. Huh? I just wanted to warn you about my brother. Don't bother him while he's working. He's pretty intense. Gotcha. Another woman on skates squeezed by. Text me. We hung up, and I folded my phone back into my pocket. Congrats, buddy, I told Aslan as we exited the bridge. Looks like you've got a new home. And I would have some extra money. I had made some decisions right after high school which had landed me in a pile of debt. After 7 years of living cheaply and paying down the principal, I was finally getting my head above water. Extra money meant I could indulge in my favorite purchases: books, matching bra and panty sets, and mocha lattes. In that order. We exited the bridge and came upon a field where people were playing soccer. A ball flew past, and it was too much for Aslan to resist. He yanked the leash from my hand and chased after the ball. He didn't see the biker heading toward him until it was too late. I held back a scream as Aslan darted right in front of the biker's wheel. Tires squealed, brakes screeched, and a string of curse words not suitable for tender ears rang through the air as the biker swerved. Aslan darted off the sidewalk, free from harm, but the biker wasn't so lucky. The bike jackknifed, and he flipped over the handlebars and crashed into a row of prickly bushes. I knew the biker was still alive from the curse words streaming from the bushes. My heart raced in my chest as I led the dogs, minus Aslan, over to the scene of the accident. I peered into the bushes and saw the biker lying with his arms and legs akimbo. You still in one piece? I know some first aid. I recited the basics in my mind. RICE. It stood for rest, ice, compression, and I couldn't remember the E. And there wasn't any ice around. The biker stuck one leg out of the bushes. It didn't look broken. Aslan, I snapped, spotting him traipsing through the bushes with a popped soccer ball hanging from his mouth. I reached down to grab his leash. The biker rolled onto the sidewalk. All his limbs seemed attached. Elevate, I exclaimed, remembering what the E stood for. The biker stared up at me. Dark sunglasses hid his expression, but I could only guess it was thunderous. I braced myself for more cussing, this time aimed at me, not the bushes. Unexpectedly, he burst out laughing. He pushed to his feet and pulled off the sunglasses. Tears streamed from his eyes. You, okay? Despite the fact that he wore a helmet, I thought he might have knocked something loose in his head. He was having trouble standing. He was laughing so hard. He finally caught his breath.
I wonder if anyone got that on video, he said. Had to be hilarious.
I'm glad you're not hurt. A giggle escaped my mouth. Now that I knew he was okay, it was hard not to laugh. He pulled off his helmet and ran his fingers through long black hair that had been made for a shampoo commercial. His long tresses had gotten a little disheveled during the tumble, but the rest of him seemed unharmed.
Those all your dogs?
He asked, binding his hair in a low ponytail at his neck. No, I tightened my grip on the leashes. None of them are mine. I volunteer at the rescue center. He pointed at Aslan.
He looks like a handful.
Aslan ignored the biker's disapproving tone, tongue lolling in blissful oblivion. You don't seem hurt. I crossed my fingers this was true.
I'm fine,
he said, plucking a leaf from his shirt. And your bike? I can pay for any damages. There went my extra income. Easy come, easy go. He crouched over his bike, running a hand over the frame and inspecting the tires.
We've been through worse.
He straightened to his feet and wiped his sunglasses off on the hem of his shirt, revealing a swatch of tanned, toned abs.
The major damage is to my ego,
he said. My shoulders relaxed and my heartbeat slowed back to normal. He was good-looking, and he knew it. He had a wide smile, and all that long, shiny hair probably got him tons of attention from the ladies. Your ego looks fine to me.
It was worth crashing to get the number of the prettiest girl in the park.
I didn't give you my number.
Ouch.
He winced.
That hurt worse than the crash.
He patted down his left arm.
I think something's broken.
He showed me his elbow, which looked perfectly fine under his fitted jacket.
I should probably get your number just in case,
he said. If something's broken, call a doctor. Not me. He grinned.
So that's a no?
It's a small town, I said. I'll probably see you around.
I can only hope.
He replaced his sunglasses and reached for his bike. Sorry about making you crash.
No worries.
He flashed a wave as he rode his bike off along the trail. I waved back, watching him until he disappeared around the corner. He had a cute smile and gorgeous eyes. And he laughed at himself. I liked that. But I didn't feel any flutters in my heart or elsewhere. Nothing. Nada. I was more excited about the next Miranda Lockhart romance novel than I was about meeting a hot guy in the park. Book boyfriends were much better than the real thing.